Field of Dreams, Dyersville, Iowa. The Field of Dreams game in Iowa is MLB's only time playing on a movie set, unless of course you count the Oakland Coliseum. The game was a tribute to the 1989 movie Field of Dreams, featuring the guy from Draft Day and Darth Vader. Played in a custom-built stadium nestled among Iowa cornfields adjacent to the original film site, the inaugural game held in 2021 featured the Chicago White Sox defeating the New York Yankees 9-8 in what some call the most cinematic regular season game ever. Kevin Costner himself led the players out of the cornfield before an absolute slugfest with 8 home runs, culminating in a Tim Anderson walk-off homer into the corn. The second game, played in 2022, was not as cool, but it opened with a sweet callback to the movie, having Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. play catch on the field. Tokyo Dome, Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo Dome stands out as the most iconic venue for Major League Baseball in Asia, having hosted 12 official MLB regular season games across 6 different opening series between 2000 and 2025. Beyond the numbers, it has become a bridge between Japanese baseball and MLB, with unforgettable moments such as Ichiro Suzuki's retirement in 2019 and Shohei Ohtani's 2025 homecoming. Nicknamed the Big Egg, the Dome is one of Japan's most iconic venues and perhaps the most important building in the global expansion of baseball. Opened in 1988, it has played host to everything from baseball and American football to rock concerts and monster truck rallies. It's the home of the Yomiuri Giants, Japan's most storied baseball team, and is a site of the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame, which chronicles over a century of the sport's deep roots in the country. Some of its special features include a massive jumbotron that stretches almost the whole outfield, a unique turf field with minimal dirt, and an amusement park right outside. Charles Schwab Field, Omaha, Nebraska. Charles Schwab Field in Omaha, formerly known as TD Ameritrade Park, hosted its first and only Major League Baseball game in 2019 when the Kansas City Royals defeated the Detroit Tigers 7-3. It marked the first MLB game ever played in Nebraska and took place just days before the College World Series began on the same field. Built for $128 million, the stadium has a seating capacity of 24,000. It serves as the permanent home of the Men's College World Series, which has been held in Omaha since 1950, and is also the home field for the Creighton University Blue Jays. Additionally, the 2019 game represented MLB's first venture into a random Midwestern state.
If I had a nickel for every time I was doomed by a puppet, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
Sydney Cricket Ground, Sydney, Australia. The Sydney Cricket Ground is one of the most iconic sports venues in the Southern Hemisphere. Established in 1851, the grounds predate Fenway Park by 61 years. In March of 2014, it hosted the first Major League Baseball games ever played in Australia, as the Los Angeles Dodgers swept the Arizona Diamondbacks in a 2-game set to open the season. Transforming the cricket oval into a temporary baseball diamond was a massive undertaking, completed over a 16-day conversion. Nearly 200 tons of California clay were shipped in to create an authentic MLB infield, while temporary dugouts and bullpens were built and a full outfield fence was installed. Over the decades, the grounds have been home to some of Australia's greatest sporting moments, hosting everything from historic cricket matches to rugby league championships. Architecturally, the grounds combine the preserved Victorian-era Members' Pavilion and Ladies' Pavilion with modern high-capacity grandstands, creating a stadium that feels both like a museum and a world-class event space. London Stadium, London, England. The MLB London Series is Major League Baseball's first and only European campaign, taking place in London Stadium, which is in the city of, well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Originally built for the 2012 Summer Olympics and the current home of Nate the Great's West Ham United, London Stadium has hosted 6 Major League Baseball games since 2019. Each series takes place on a custom baseball field built using clay imported from Pennsylvania, and features a clash between some of MLB's most bitter rivals.
Exactly what you two get.
Oh, wow.
Let's go!
The inaugural matchup between the Yankees and Red Sox still stands out as the most memorable. An epic 17-13 4-hour slugfest that featured the most eloquent baseball commentary ever.
Have a domino effect.
That's a long one. It's a very long one, and it's gone. Home run. 2 runs short off the bat of Aaron Hicks.
It was so epic that even the author of The Bench had to show up accompanied by some random ginger. With all the Aaron Hicks home runs, Premier League matches, and even Olympic events this stadium has hosted, the most iconic moment to ever take place here is still that YouTuber soccer game. Real quick, if you made it this far, you probably don't totally hate the video. I put a lot of time and effort into these, and I'm trying to hit my first big goal of 1,000 subs. So if you could drop a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Gocheok Sky Dome, Seoul, South Korea. The MLB Seoul Series, held in March of 2024 at Gocheok Sky Dome, home of the KBO's Kiwoom Heroes, marked the first Major League Baseball games ever played in South Korea. The two-game series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and San Diego Padres featured some bangers and had no shortage of storylines. It marked the Dodgers' debut of global icon Shohei Ohtani, who had recently signed a record-breaking contract with them, turning the series into an international media frenzy. The event was also a homecoming for Ha-Sung Kim, the Padres shortstop and former Heroes star, who called this very stadium home for 6 years before leaping to MLB. That said, the fanfare wasn't without drama. Ahead of Game 1, a bomb threat was made against Shohei Ohtani and several other players. I guess the Korea-Japan WBC rivalry really is that deep. Thankfully, local police cleared the venue after an investigation, and everything else went to plan. Over the years, the Dome has hosted major international competitions, including the World Baseball Classic and, of course, the 2023 League of Legends World Championship Final. The stadium also features a wiry support frame that gives its interior a distinct look. Rickwood Field, Birmingham, Alabama. Rickwood Field, tucked into Birmingham's West End neighborhood, holds the distinction of being the oldest surviving professional baseball park in the United States. Built in 1910, Rickwood went on to host the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues, with legends like Willie Mays and Satchel Paige gracing its field. By the late 1900s, Rickwood had been transformed into a working museum. In 2024, it underwent a $5 million renovation to prepare for its biggest moment in the modern spotlight. MLB at Rickwood Field, a tribute to the Negro Leagues. In June of 2024, the St. Louis Cardinals and San Francisco Giants played the first ever regular season MLB game in Alabama, with the Cardinals winning 6-5. Both teams wore Negro League throwback uniforms, San Francisco as the Sea Lions and St. Louis as the Stars. The stadium featured an old-school jewel box design and a manual scoreboard in left field, with a green exterior that carries a classic Southern charm. During renovations, MLB added a new playing surface, upgraded dugouts, temporary lights, and a modern digital scoreboard. Hiram Bithorn Stadium, San Juan, Puerto Rico. Hiram Bithorn Stadium in San Juan has hosted the most games on this list by far, as it was the part-time home of the Montreal Expos. Over the 2003 and 2004 seasons, the Expos played 43 home games here, an experiment sparked by dwindling attendance in Montreal and MLB's search for a temporary home before relocating the franchise to Washington, D.C. Additionally, in April of 2018, the Cleveland Indians and Minnesota Twins faced off in a special two-game series here. The teams split the set, with Puerto Rican stars Francisco Lindor and Jose Barrios coming through to lead their respective clubs to victory. The stadium is the Caribbean's most famous ballpark, opened in October of 1962. It was named after Hiram Bithorn, the first Puerto Rican to play in Major League Baseball. It also hosted the NBA's first ever outdoor game in 1972 between the Phoenix Suns and Milwaukee Bucks. It features a zigzagged roof over the grandstand, reminiscent of the Dodger Stadium pavilions. Bowman Field, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Since 2017, historic Bowman Field in Williamsport has become home to the MLB Little League Classic, the specialty event that Major League Baseball, for whatever reason, chose to be the one that happens every year. Bowman Field originally opened in 1926 and is the second oldest ballpark in minor league baseball, which has hosted numerous teams. The Classic aligns with the nearby Little League World Series and is part of MLB's effort to grow the game to a younger audience. The nature of the venue means the game is played in front of a small crowd, mostly Little Leaguers and their families, with seating for just over 2,300 people. This gives the event an intimate atmosphere with big league stakes. Over the years, MLB has invested over $4 million in renovations to meet pro standards, while preserving the field's old-school ballpark vibe. Estadio Alfredo Harp Helu, Mexico City, Mexico. Opened in March of 2019, Estadio Alfredo Harp Helu is a state-of-the-art ballpark in Mexico City. Home to the Diablos Rojos del Mexico, the most successful team in Mexican League history. It is quickly becoming a centerpiece of Major League Baseball's expansion into Latin America through the MLB Mexico City Series. Sitting at an altitude of over 7,300 feet, more than 2,000 feet higher than Coors Field, The stadium is a haven for power hitters and a nightmare for pitchers. It's fittingly nicknamed Diamante de Fuego, or Fire Diamond. The first MLB regular season game at the venue took place in April of 2023, featuring the San Diego Padres and San Francisco Giants. The Padres swept the two-game set, with the first game being a 16-11 high-octane bout that saw 11 home runs hit by 10 different players, tying an MLB record. In that game, more Padres starters homered than didn't. The ballpark boasts several quirky features, including an entrance inspired by a Mesoamerican temple with a pyramid-like structure, complete with an Aztec sacrifice altar for relievers who blow too many saves. Just kidding. Overhead, a trident-shaped roof adds a distinctive touch to the design. Inside, the seats gradually turn red as you move up the stands, creating the illusion of flames rising through the stadium. Fort Bragg Field, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. In July of 2016, Major League Baseball made history with a one-time-only regular season game at Fort Bragg Field, a temporary stadium constructed on an active military base. The game, played between the Atlanta Braves and Miami Marlins, was the first ever MLB game held on a military installation, and remains one of the most unique venues in league history. MLB invested around $5 million to transform an unused golf course into a fully functional stadium, capable of hosting 12,500 military personnel and their families. The players wore patriotic-themed uniforms, and the event included pre-game military tributes. Once the game ended, the field didn't disappear entirely. The temporary grandstands were taken down, but the playing surface was turned into a recreational softball field for the service members, leaving behind a lasting gift. Infamous YouTuber and baseball fan Zach Campbell also found himself in hot water for attending the event, despite it not being open to the general public, which is something I actually covered in a pretty cool video about him and some of baseball's other hated fans that you should definitely check out after this. Estadio Mobil Super, Monterrey, Mexico. Estadio Mobil Super, affectionately nicknamed Palacio Sultan, is Mexico's largest baseball stadium and is a cornerstone of the country's baseball culture. Opened in 1990, it became home of the Sultanes de Monterrey of the Mexican Pacific League. Its first appearance in Major League Baseball history came up in August 1996, when it hosted a Mets-Padres game, the first MLB games ever played outside the United States or Canada. The Padres, featuring Mexican legend Fernando Valenzuela, won 2 of the 3 games. After a long gap, Monterrey returned to the MLB stage in May of 2018 for a 3-game Padres-Dodgers series that made history again when 4 Dodgers pitchers combined to throw the first no-hitter ever recorded outside the US or Canada. The stadium features an ad wall wrapping around the outside of the ballpark, along with another that stretches above the upper deck. Additionally, it has the iconic backdrop of the Cerro de la Silla mountain range. The stadium at ESPN Wide World of Sports, Kissimmee, Florida. Opened in 1997 as a part of Disney's $100 million Wide World of Sports complex, the stadium was designed in the style dubbed Florida Picturesque. It has a distinct look with its yellow walls, green tile roofs, arched entryways, and decorative towers. The stadium served as the spring training facility for the Atlanta Braves for 21 years. Major League Baseball made its regular season debut at the stadium in May of 2007 when the Tampa Bay Devil Rays hosted and swept the Texas Rangers in a 3-game series. Attendance built each game, totaling 26,917 across the set. The Rays returned in April of 2008 to face the Toronto Blue Jays in another 3-game sweep. These series were part of Tampa Bay's push to expand its fan base beyond the immediate St. Petersburg area, and the Disney setting gave fans a vacation-style baseball experience unlike any other in MLB. Bristol Motor Speedway, Bristol, Tennessee. Bristol Motor Speedway, nicknamed the Last Great Coliseum, is one of NASCAR's most famous short tracks, located in the small Appalachian city of Bristol, Tennessee. Its 146,000 capacity and enclosed bowl shape makes it a unique American sporting venue, but one that has never hosted Major League Baseball until 2025. That August, Bristol staged the Speedway Classic, an ambitious bid to break the all-time regular season attendance record with a matchup between the Atlanta Braves and Cincinnati Reds. The idea was ambitious: convert the infield of the NASCAR track into a temporary ballpark. While the attendance mark was achieved by 91,032 fans, the event quickly became infamous as a rainy mess, and by the end of the day, it was remembered more for bunless wieners than for anything that happened on the field. Anyway, getting back on topic, the oval's massive size made for a bizarre baseball venue, with seats absurdly far from the diamond, and some truly unique views of the field. The turf field was installed alongside a temporary outfield wall, dugouts, clubhouses, bullpens, and even a makeshift lower bowl grandstand. Aloha Stadium, Honolulu, Hawaii. In April of 1997, Major League Baseball made its first and only trip to Hawaii for the Padres Paradise Series, a 3-game set between the San Diego Padres and St. Louis Cardinals at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. That was an experiment conducted by the Padres front office to test the Hawaiian market. The venue was Hawaii's largest sports facility, opened in 1975 with a capacity of around 50,000. It was known for its unique design, built with movable sections that allowed it to be reconfigured for football, baseball, or soccer. That versatility made it the longtime home of the NFL Pro Bowl, as well as minor league baseball.